Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome back to the Humble Servant Homestead. Today I am out here up at the top garden where we have all of our garlic planted. Now there is not much planted up here at the top garden, but a lot of these beds that we have has been winterized, so to speak. They've been covered just so to keep nutrients and all that different kind of stuff, microbes active in the soil for the little heat that we do get throughout the day. All right, so now I am actually here to speak about our garlic. Now, if y'all remember that video that I put out when I planted these garlics here, a lot of the stuff that I put in this garden here came from out of the goat pen, and it had a lot of straw and different kind of stuff in it. And I said, you know what, I am not going to mulch it. Now, I guess you would say I may have to be bite my words, because today I am here to talk a little bit about mulching your garlic and why it is important to mulch your garlic, guys. So if you come on down low right here, now with that freeze that we just had a couple days ago, maybe I say about 4 days ago, we had a freeze came through here, and if you can see, a lot of the outer leaves and different stuff like that is a bit burnt back. Now that is not a big issue, that is not a problem. That is also one of the reasons why you plant your garlic early on in the fall, okay, or November or October is a good time to plant your garlic. And the reason why we plant them at that time is so that they can go through overwintering, okay, and also for their roots to go ahead and establish in the ground as well. Now, so let's talk a little bit about the mulching and why it is important to mulch your garlic. Now, one of the important things why you should mulch your garlic is helps to keep the nutrients in the ground, okay, so that way it's more of a slow release with whatever nutrients you have in here, and it won't leach out in the ground too fast. Now that is one of the reasons why it is very important to mulch your garlic, guys. And also you got to understand that in the winter time, your ground is freezing and it's thawing out, freezing and thawing out. And what happened in that process, your ground is being compacted and it's being loosened back up, because once that frost get inside of your ground, that ice, it loosens up the dirt once it thaws out. And so that right there can actually can have some of your garlic bulbs to go ahead and come up out of the ground. And so that is a reason why it is important to mulch your garlic, guys. Now, mulching your garlic has a lot of benefits. It comes with a lot of benefits. It helps to keep moisture in the ground. It helps to suppress the weeds. Having that mulch on top also keep your fertilizer, whatever you put in, from leaching away too fast into the ground. So that is some of the reason why it is very important to mulch your garlics. Now what I want to go ahead and do is talk a little bit about the mulch that we will be using here in the garden this year to mulch our garlics. Now over the previous years, we came on in, and when we mulch our garlic, we will simply go ahead and come on in with the wood chips. Now I'm kind of steering a little bit away from the wood chips, just a little bit too much carbon in that wood chip, and I don't want anything to kind of stunt the growth of my garlic, which that year when we did use wood chip, we did have a pretty good yield. Okay, so if that's all you have, it's okay to go ahead and use it. I'm not going to rule it out completely. All right, so if you come on down here, we'll talk a little bit about some mulching options that we have here on the homestead that we use in the garlic beds. All right, so option number one. Now what this is right here, guys, of course, over the fall, a lot of your leaves fall off your tree, if not all of them. all of your evergreens hold back some of their leaves, but they lose some of them as well. Now these leaves right here is coming from oak trees. Now one of the reasons why it is good to use these leaves here inside of your garlic bed, there is still a lot of nutrients in these leaves. You know, it is filled with a bit of carbon in here, but all that nutrients that your trees pull up out of the ground is still inside of these leaves. Now one of the way that I would use them in this garden here, what I did with my lawnmower, I pretty much went on over them with my lawnmower to kind of chop them up a little bit smaller. Now if you can see how dark brown these leaves are right here, that's pretty much the moisture that is in the leaves. And it's good when you chop them up as well, so that way water and stuff like that can go through freely. And especially if when you first plant your garlic, they won't have anything obstructing them from coming up out of the ground. So that is, you know, good if you chop your leaves up before you use them inside of your garden as well. All right, and so option number 2 right here, what we also have is some pine straw. Okay, now pine straw is actually pretty good to use in your garden as well, and a lot of this leaves and straw, it only builds your garden over a period of time, guys. What is going to happen, this right here is going to break down and make your soil even richer. Okay, so keep that in mind. Hey, use the pine straw in your garlic beds, or even using it to mulch a lot of your vegetables and all that different kind of stuff. Remember, it helps to hold in the moisture because you don't want your roots drying out. All right, so, and even over here, as y'all can see, that is exactly what we have right here to mulch, is the pine straw. And now you can see a little bit of these garlics that we had planted in here is pushing up out of the ground. Now look at that there, guys. Look at that, looking really good. Some of them have not pushed out just as yet, but hey, in the springtime we will see what happens. Okay, so that is option number 2, pine straw. And if you have pine trees here in your yard, hey, just go ahead and gather them up. Or guess what? A lot of our neighbors have trees, right? And so in the fall, what they're doing, they're outside cleaning up, wanting their yard to look back beautiful. You got a pickup truck right around that neighborhood and just throw those bags on the back of your truck, and you could find a spot in your property and put them there, let them break down over a period of time, and you can even use that in your garden organic matter. All right, so that is one of the good tip there that you can keep in mind, guys. All right, so right over here is option number 3, and this right here is pretty much it's ryegrass. Now one of the downsides with this right here, guys, is because ryegrass actually love to strive around this time of the year. Okay, but what this is pretty much rejects that the goats pretty much they didn't like it. I guess it wasn't palatable for them, so they reject them. But when I came and I examined, there is pretty much no seeds on these pieces right here. I guess this is more of a coarser piece of straw that they just didn't want to eat, and so they reject it. Now this is one that you can also use here inside of your garden. So this, if you have animals on hand, don't throw your straws away. As y'all can see, a lot of times we pile that stuff up, put it aside and let it break down, and then in turn came back and use it in the garden as well, guys. Okay, and so in just a moment I will show you all how I use the straw as well in the garden. Now another tip that I will share with you all, what I do, I use this right here for bedding for my chickens. And so what the chickens will do, if there is any seeds inside of this straw right here, throughout the day when they finish eating their breakfast, they will be scratching through it and looking for seeds out of here. And even sometime when I feed them, the scratch, what I would do, I would throw that scratch out inside of the straw in the chicken coop, and they scratch through it looking for their feed, and they will buck up on some seeds and they will eat the seeds that way. Now, I would say it's probably about a 90% success rate. They won't get all the seeds. There will still be some, but majority of the seeds will be out of the straw. So keep that in mind. If you have chickens, you can also use this straw as bedding. And then even when you come on in to use this straw, once they go through it, you will also have a little bit of fertilizer in this straw right here, where you can spread out inside of your garlic beds. Now come on down here. I'm going to go ahead and show you all.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So when you say that the chicken eat the seed, is it to keep the seed from going to weeds?
Yes, yes, to keep it from going to weed inside of my garden beds.
Okay.
Because, you know, sometimes, like even right now, we are using the straw inside of the garden. And so once the chicken go through and they scratch out and they eat all those seeds, what happens, you know, it lessens the amount of seeds that would be inside of your garden. And so that is the reason why we would use it as bedding. All right. So did that answer your question?
It did.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And so we will move on down where we are actually using this straw. And so right here, I just want to show you all how we use the straw here inside of the garden, guys. And so that is it right there, how we use the straw. But one of the things what I want to show you all now, why it is so important to plant your garlic early in the fall. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this garlic on out.
Oh, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, just to kind of show you all the root structure. Now, that is why it is important to plant your garlic early, so they can have a great start putting out those roots and all that different foliage. And another reason why it is important to plant your garlic early as well, that will also helps for you to get bigger bulbs. Now, who likes small bulbs when they plant garlic? I don't, because for me, hey, just feels a little bit like a waste of time.
Let me see your garlic.
That is it right there. All right.
Okay.
And so what I'm going to do, hey, we're going to
plant it back.
Plant it back. It might take root and do its thing. So we're going to put her back down in here and pray that you give us some good garlic in the late spring, early summer. All right. We're going to mulch her back on around. And so, guys, that is it right there. Of course, you know, I just want to say thanks to each and every one of you all out there for stopping by the Humble Servant Homestead. If you like the content y'all got here today, go ahead, throw that thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe, guys. And I just want to say, hey, thank you all for stopping by the Humble Servant Homestead. And as always, peace and blessings to each and every one of you all out there. And remember, keep a smile on your face. Have a blessed day.